Hello, I am Paula Bell, the program manager for Bridging the Gap, and I am here with my special guest and friend, John Sim, out of the Bay Area in San Francisco. He is currently a finance business analyst, and he is going to talk to us about his career success and journey and how he was a participant in the Blueprint program and how the Blueprint program helped him along with that success. So first off, thank you, John, for being a part of this interview that we're going to do, the success journey, and being willing to share your success journey with others. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for the invitation. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you for accepting. I am really excited to discover more about your story and about you today. So, should we just go ahead and dive right in, and we can just start opening it up to hearing about this wonderful success journey you've been on?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. So, first thing I want you to think about or tell us about, can you take us back to the spring of 2020? Before you joined us for the Blueprint Analyst Certification Program, where were you at in your career and what were you looking to achieve at that time back in the spring of 2020?
Oh yeah, it was actually someone, right? I have a counseling session with another advisor, and he has a close association with Bridging the Gap. So he actually introduced me, say, to sign up for this program, and then I got some special bonus on his counseling side. So, uh, and I look up Laura Brandenburg, and then I read about, oh, she's a established BA, and she's also a QA tester, whatever, which is very similar to me. I used to be a QA engineer, but doing some function analyst work. So, and I think, oh, those are the new things, BA uh, tools that I need to learn, because nowadays, uh, even though I'm doing business analyst, I don't have formal training. So I thought, oh, that's an established program and well known. So uh, it, I was struggling to say, oh, the cost is not cheap, but then I think it will be a worthwhile investment down the road, and I think I can afford it through the installment. And then I did take a leap of faith and let's try it. What harm can I do? So I gained the skill. Uh, that's why I jumped into the program to try to learn about business analysis.
So you said you made the investment, you looked at the cost, you made the investment, you took a leap of faith, you went in there and you gained the skill. So how would you say those skills helped you or transformed you into where you are today from back when you started in the spring of 2020?
Oh yeah, those are the skills that I wish I have learned, have proper training so I can do a better job in BA world. And then when I'm actually in the program doing the exercise, I was finding, oh, some I haven't worked on real projects. The projects that I did is past project that I've done in my uh, software development work that I apply it to my to the training program. So it actually helps me switch my mind, because I was doing like three different roles. Like I'm a BA, but I was also thinking in terms of developer how to fix it, and then and then also thinking about end user how to do it. And I try to put everything in the workshop. But then I was corrected, say no. When you're doing BA, you should be narrowly focused as a BA. Don't don't cross the boundary to do like how to how to design the software, which is not a BA work. So it really have to switch my mind to be BA focused and understand what is the requirement using the process map, the uh, flow diagram, and then which it's eye opening and a user story and which is strict guideline, which I say, oh, I need to uh, be open-minded to learn about everything, because before that I just have a fixed mindset. Okay, let's see what the program can do for me. And I did have a few times I was so frustrated. I want to give up, but I keep telling, I think even though the instruction were uh, some correction comments that I need to fix my workbook, and I was like, why? Yeah, I'm just feeling frustrated, so I want to give up. But then I keep saying, no, I think it's the purpose. That's learning, right? People tell you you need to improve on this area, on that area. Just have an open mind to absorb it and learn it and then correct it and then grow yourself better. That's how I persuade myself, say, uh, just learn what the, just accept the feedback that people give you, and then I just work on the feedback, just persevere and be patient and be resilient to uh, understand the requirement and meet the requirement and the deadline. And I glad I stuck to it. So I learned a lot of things, even though during the instructor session, I might be asking a lot of questions, questioning why can't I do it this way? Why can't I do it this way? But I just want to understand the viewpoint of the instructor. So now I understood it. Say, oh, okay. So there's a certain set of standard to follow, and you shouldn't go out of it, because my comfort zone of doing things is one way, but then the standard is another way. So I say, oh, I need to get out of my comfort zone and then follow instruction or standard that people have uh, established. So I say, okay, it's not John, it's learning time. So just
Right.
open my mind, open my heart to accept learning and feedback. So that was a great change of mindset and attitude.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. Well, let's go a little bit deeper in that because you mentioned some aspects of the program, and I heard you mention use cases. I heard you mention process. So let's take process, the business process analysis module. What would you say some of your key takeaways were from that particular module?
Yeah, it was try to visualize it so that people can understand, uh, and I thought, oh, I've seen people use it this way, and then I tried to incorporate, and then got a feedback say, no, it's not a good idea because people will be confused. And then I try another way, and then another instructor gives a different feedback. Say, okay, and and then and also read up on more instruction and then see example of how people do it and say, oh, okay, let me simplify it and not get too complicated. And then if it's a document, just show the document icon. If it's a process, and if it's a decision, then a decision. And then if it's different level of swim lane or whatever, just make sure the process and simplify and not overcomplicated it. Because every time I think, oh, maybe I should add this, and then say, maybe not. So it's like go through multiple iterations until, and then I think I jump in on almost all the instruction hour to get the feedback of, is this better now? Is this not good? So yeah, so I get feedback and try to improve on it, and then finally I got it okay. I say, oh, okay, now I'm learning. So it's actually thought-provoking process, because I was like, oh, I want to add this, but then it's like, oh, the PowerPoint is only that huge because I can't show the whole screen, so I have to like shrunk everything, smaller icon, smaller arrows, and and then oh yeah, and then the words inside the diagram,
Mm,
you can elaborate. You have to use shorten, say, document flow or decision. So it's like, oh, one word uh, to explain the thing and say, oh, that's me simplify it, but I tends to a lot of put too much detail. So it's like, oh, okay.
mhm.
So does that answer
Okay.
your questions?
It does. That was some great feedback. You visualize, you don't overcomplicate, you make it simple. You are very clear on how the arrows work, on how you have to be very concise in using those verbs and the activity shapes and all of that. So yeah, those are some great points that you brought out that you learned during the session. So thank you for sharing that and sharing what some of those concepts were. I also like that you advised that you leveraged all the instructor hours too. You got that instructor support and that feedback along the way because you saw people do it a certain way, then you got some feedback, a different perspective, you incorporated that, and you were open to that. So that's great. The great pieces of information and nuggets there for anyone that will be listening to your success story. Can you tell us a little bit of where you are in your career now? How have things progressed for you so far?
Uh, the PA skill, I think it's a good skill to have, because everywhere they want the PA skill of gather requirement and then engage with stakeholders. And uh, I have those experience in the different world, like in the financial ERP world. So, but in the Salesforce arena, I'm pretty new to it. So even though they might be using agile and a different process, I don't have actual uh, real life situation on the Salesforce area, but I think it should be similar, because if you're using agile, they have the same ceremony, right? You do the sprint planning, and then you have the stand up meeting, and then you do the uh, review and retrospective in the sprint cycle. So I think I can adapt to those methodology pretty easily, and then working with developer, those I think I've already done that in my financial ERP world, where we collaborate with the product manager on the feature, discussing the document, what needs to be included, and then work with the developer uh, and give them my functional knowledge on the subject, and then work on the test script to test the unit test that the development have, and then if it needs rework, then I'll work with the developer to rework. So I most of the time I'm very familiar with the waterfall method, because that's how I was trained when I was doing all those development work, where the agile BA technology is more recent. So I have limited knowledge, but with this BA skill that I have, it will be greatly enhanced in whatever I do, because I believe I can uh, work on anything that I'm assigned. So whether it's consulting or big company, a small company, I should be able to handle any challenge because and and in one of my career development group where I was asked to work with a team to customize projects, and I took it upon to learn Salesforce on what I know, and then do a lot of Google research on how things is done. So that's a lot of time. I have an issue, I Google search it, and then I get the answer, and then apply the BA work or Salesforce work to solve my solution. And when I have an issue, I just ask questions around, especially in Salesforce, there's a huge community to get my answer. So I guess the success career is just to be patient, to be persevering, resilient, and keep learning, and then ask questions because I am an introvert. I usually uh, like to ask questions privately, like in a smaller group one-on-one. In larger meeting, I usually listen to people asking questions and I say, oh, that's the question I would like to ask, and someone is already asking on my behalf. So in the bigger setting, I tend to listen more, but on the smaller setting one-on-one, then I'm more comfortable sharing and speak up. So that's the area that I'm learning to be more open up to share my ideas, what I think about certain things.
So, John, I just want to mention we are getting some background noise.
Oh, okay.
Uh, it really sounds like dishes, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I'm a one bedroom apartment. Everything is attached. So,
mhm.
no, sorry for the
So
distraction.
no problem, no problem. Is there any way that we can lessen the distraction for for the next like 10 to 15 minutes?
Okay, let me pause this. Okay, it
We
should be
good?
fine now.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect. Okay, so you had what I want you to share and talk about is I remember when you got the new position you're in now, and it was a journey getting to the position that you're in now. Can you share a little bit about what happened prior to you getting that position and how you ended up in the position you are currently in? Because I think that would resonate with a lot of people who might be going through some of the similar scenarios that you went through.
Yeah, my situation is I'm not a net new person looking for job. I'm more like a mid-career person that have some IT background. So getting a transition to another position, it's a challenge. It takes longer because I probably have already established some experience and some IT and some, I think, salary expectation already. So when even when I'm new to Salesforce, I try to apply for the entry level job. I never get any traction. And then it's because I don't know if if the employer will look at me say, oh, you have a lot of experience and you want to apply for entry level position. So I don't know what they will think about hire a experienced person to do entry level sales job versus someone who is brand new also learning Salesforce. So I don't know. That's harder to crack into the entry level for my level of experience because I'm competing with those net new people. And so, and then the thing that I improved is my LinkedIn profile, which I got help from the talent stacker community group that they uh, help a lot on my LinkedIn profile, my resume, my mock interview. That helps a lot because once I updated my LinkedIn profile, I get more requests. Say, can I interview for this Salesforce job, Salesforce consulting, and other area? So I get to talk to more recruiter, hiring manager, and that was a start. But then it wasn't easy too, because when I start talking to recruiter, they have a requirement, say, oh, we need to hire someone who has Salesforce experience. And then I tell them my transferable skills in Oracle, ERP, and IPA certification and Scrum Master certification and Salesforce. And then some ask, how much experience do you have? I say uh, when I first started, I say I have less than one. I say, oh, we need a lot of the recruiter. Oh, we have a requirement. We need to get someone that has 3 or 4 years of Salesforce experience. So that's the roadblock where I have like 10 years of experience in ERP, and then they say, oh, you have experience. And then they just assume I have Salesforce with that many of experience. So when they talk to me, they say, oh, you don't have Salesforce experience? No, we are not looking. I don't think you will be successful. We want someone that have experience. So that's the roadblock that I face with a lot of recruiter who strictly just look at the requirement. We need Salesforce expertise, this area, or sometimes uh, specifically, oh, we want CPQ. I don't have CPQ, but I can learn because everything I acquire is through learning and through sharing. So that's the journey where, and the most opportunity I got, it's the consulting. And some consulting, I went through the interview, meet with the hiring manager, and then they say, oh, we're not continuing the next step. So, and when I ask for feedback, they don't give feedback. So I say, are they afraid of liability? I don't know. So I didn't get useful help. So, well, can I improve the next time? Is it my delivery, or is it uh, I didn't give detailed answer or whatever? So I'm just guessing what could be the answer, and then it, and then the, and then I think this year there was a large consulting company where they first advertised it through the Salesforce Talent Alliance job fair, and then I signed up for it, and then they invited me. They invited a bunch of people to their 3 to 6 week training program on Salesforce, how they conduct, how to prepare a visual elevator speech, and then how to have a good impression, and how they are interviewing people, and then how to do a case study, and then if you complete your the trailhead superset, which like 3 separate super batch, then you get invited to talk to the management networking, and then after networking, they give you a job posting to apply for it. So I applied for that, and then went for a phone interview and 2 other final interview with a senior manager and a specialist, and throughout the interview, I learned a lot more about the company, and then they asked me the first question, because on the first position when I applied, there was a consultant and senior consultant, and I guess later when I look back at my application, I think the first application I actually apply for the senior consultant. So when I went into the interview, the interviewer were asking all the like deep functional knowledge on nonprofit, which I haven't worked on it. So I will like stumble on it, say, I'm trying to give him the answer, but And he tried to go even deeper. I say, oh, I haven't used it, but we use a third party or whatever. So it, so the first experience was a learning experience, because after the interview, I say thank you for the interview, and they reply say, oh yeah, it's nice talking to you, but we won't be continuing your journey. So I said, oh, okay. And then 4 months later, they have a similar program again, and someone else that I know connected with me actually uh, worked in the company. So he posts, we have a second round of the same program where you can become a consultant. So I sign up a second time for the program again, and then went through the interview again. And this time they use a different video platform for the interview. And I went through the interview, and I think I did okay. I think better than the first time, because I researched the answer that they asked me the first time, and then learn more about tell revise my tell me about myself story, and other thing that I need to know about the company or the questions that I want to ask. So after the second recruitment, I didn't get a rejection email. I got a voicemail say, thank you for your pre-hire application. After looking at it, uh, we decided you're not selected for this go round, but we'll keep your resume for the next go round in November, and we'll uh, call you back for the next round of interview. So fast forward to round 3, when they have the similar program, and then this time they actually uh, yeah, they say they're going to contact me in November again to talk about the similar position, and then they call me back, and then someone that I know in the company actually referred me for that positions. And then I got an email say, oh, we want to talk to you. Let's set up a time for phone screening. So I went through the phone screening again, and then say, oh, okay. Yeah, it was pretty quick. The phone interview was on the Friday, and then the Monday, I got an email say, oh yeah, uh, the the manager say everything went fine. We want to schedule the next final interview with another 3 uh, consultant. So I said they gave me 2 dates, Monday and the Friday. So I choose 2 weeks later on the Friday, and then it was all in the same day. Like I have to go through like 3 interview, one for the focus interview and one for the behavior interview, and then the last one was the case study. So I went through all 3 through the video platform, and and yeah, and I have a good conversation with the first 2. The last one actually from a case study is actually testing my Salesforce knowledge from beginning to end, right? They asked me about Sales Cloud. How do you know they have this case scenario? They're using legacy system. What would you recommend? So I tell them the upfront what is the issue and the problem, and then they have a case. Say we have a Sales Cloud. How would you do? And then I'll tell them what I know, what I recommend, and then they say, how about Service Cloud? How do you route the case if we have a new region? So I tell them, uh, you can route it based on the queue or whatever, and then uh, assign someone to accept the queue. And then they ask me about reporting, and then the security structure, and then ending, and then in conclusion, what is your recommendation? I say they should replace the legacy system with Salesforce. So when this is over, the following Monday, I got the email say, congratulations, you're accepted. Here's offer letter. I was like, oh, that was quick.
Awesome.
That was
Right.
quick. And then they say, oh, but they give me a week to think over, and that was yeah, they give me the offer just before Thanksgiving. So it's like, you have a week to think over. And then I say, okay. And then I found out, say, oh yeah, we give you that offer, but we have to do a background audit of you. I say, that sounds scary. They want to do an audit on me, on my previous job and current job. And I was like panicking, say, what what can they find on me? But I say, don't worry about it. I tends to
Exactly.
over worry myself. So it's like, let's just go through. If they ask me the difficult question, then I'll figure out how to answer them. So, and then,
So
yeah.
John, so you got the job on the third try. You went through, uh, the first one didn't go through. You did it again. You did your research. You did it again. The second one that didn't go through either, but you didn't give up because they said they were going to contact you in
Mhm.
November. So that you got the offer in November. You're working in that role now as a financial business analyst. You're doing this work. I have to ask, if you hadn't invested in the Blueprint certification program, where do you think you would be today if you had not invested in it?
I think that Blueprint ACBA certification probably has some weight because I only have one Salesforce certification, but I have BA certification and then the Scrum Master certification, and then they even tell me, how can I verify your ACBA certification? So I show them the bridging the gap link to verify my certification, and I think those three certification probably take into consideration on them, because I only have one Salesforce, but I two the other one, the BA and the Scrum Master. So I think those put some weight on the decision. So, and yeah, I have to wait like 2 months to start. So I'm hopefully the current background check, it's uh okay, because they're pretty strict, because I have some paid work and volunteer work, and I lump everything together as
Mm-hmm.
same company, but I don't know whether they would like it or not. If they don't like it, then I'll be
Mm-hmm.
have to explain, a lot of explaining to do for them.
Well, we're just going to believe everything's going to be fine. You have
Hmm.
the skill set
Hmm.
to do it. You demonstrated that. Clearly, they found value in you having the ACBA certification. Really quick last question for you. How have you leveraged what you've learned from the ACBA certification in since you have left the program? How have you leveraged what you've learned in that program in your career up to this point?
I think the program, it's yeah, all the topics that uh, Laura taught, it's useful, and it's actually a reminder course to go through again. And even though I didn't use it in strictly in the actual work environment, but I'm always attending other uh, session on BA, and also Tony Martin's BA session. I'm also part of it. So it's like, if I can learn as much about BA and their real world experience, it's helpful to keep track and note. So next time when I do it, I can just borrow what their experience in my real job. So it's all helpful. And
Awesome.
yeah, down the line, I might use more and more and more. So it's, even
Right.
though I get the certification, doesn't mean I know everything. I'm still learning, probably the beginning level, so of a BA.
But at least you have the tools and the resources to help you along with that. Well, thank you for sharing your story with us today, John. I really appreciate it. Before I wrap up, though, is there anything else that you would like to share before we close out?
Uh, it's just for beginners or for those mid-career people. just don't be patient, don't give up, don't give yourself time box in a time period. I have to get a job. It's uh you you can get it sooner or you can get it later as long as you have the resources to keep looking for job. Just uh, persevere, persistent, leverage the community network uh, to let them know that you're finding a job and what area you need. And also, if you have a faith in God, yeah, uh, trust that God will lead you a good path, and who knows, He might give you a favor, and He will lead you to something better down the line. Although, even though it might take longer, sometimes the longer you wait, the better job you get. So sometimes I was like, should I try everything? This even low pay, should I go that? Should I go this? Could I go this? So don't spread yourself too thin. So figure
Right.
out what area you want to focus on and then stick to it. And sooner or later you will get it. Just don't give up and don't be frustrated. I did discouraged,
Perfect.
frustrated all the time, but just keep up the faith and something good will come your way.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Wonderful words of wisdom. So you heard them, everyone. Don't give up. Even if you're frustrated, push through it, persevere. You can do this. Thank you once again, John, for joining us today and sharing your story. I truly, truly appreciate it. And I'm quite sure your story is going to impact others and inspire others and encourage others as we go forward. So, with that, it was an honor speaking with you today. And I just want to say once again, thank you. And everyone out there who's listening, I'm quite sure you got golden nuggets from John today and we will talk to you soon. Have a great one.
Bye.